Hirakumar Soya 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 Soya.
Hello and welcome to Lecture 58 of Namas University. My name is BETHOLD. I am the Master of the Elves and co-leader of the Devas, working in tandem with Wise One. Today I would like to start with politics. Much like Earth on the dense physical, beings perceived in the etheric realm utilize structures and roles of governance. SANAT Kumara, for example, who you know by now, has a role in governance of humanity's evolution on planet Earth. This is a position of office rather than a personal mission, although sometimes the distinction between personal and collective goals can become blurred by the affinity of the post holder to the work at hand. You could say that the post selects the appointee, a selection process that is as natural and predictable as magnetism. This could be interpreted as a manifestation of one of the laws of the universe, the law of attraction. Broadly speaking, there are two major categories of governance. One is of control, and the other is creative evolution. Control maintains order of the tried and true. Evolution breaks the mold, discovering the new by challenging the status quo. My role sits firmly within the second category. My nature is one of rebellion and revolution. I look for flaws and cracks within the current acting system so that we can move past it, even if that requires the destruction of the old to make way for the new. From the outside, this process can be viewed as a threat. Change can be viewed as an affront to our being, our established identity, our routines, our comfort zone, exposing our blind spots and ignorance. Challenge is where growth occurs, where we can overcome our prejudice on how things should be. Should being a word defined by our collective agreement over generations of experience and subsequent interpretation. Earth's history is a testament to what can happen when a population is subject to ill-informed opinion, cemented and propagated in society by the forgetful. Earth has been in a state of amnesia for so very long. The reasons for this are manifold, convoluted, and uncomfortable. My intention is to introduce you to this uncomfortable area of subjective truth, to ease your passing through the lens of plausibility, disbelief, and interpretation. Earth has a rich history, both painful and wondrous. The truth can be bittersweet a difficult pill to swallow. Many of the subjects we will discuss will provoke feelings of dread and despair, alarm and surprise. Much is being withheld from history books, the religious texts, and schools of thought. As these subjects are breached, why is a question that will sound loudly through the halls of revelation. Why now, you may ask? Why is this being discussed now? Why not sooner? Why not a century ago, a millennia ago, 12,000 years ago? Why was it allowed to happen the way that it did? It all boils down to a simple query. What might happen if? As you will discover, the seemingly innocuous beginnings of a hypothesis was a catalyst for a grand experiment. Intellectual theory is just that, a theory. To understand and transcend a thing, one must experience and test it, to live it. Furthermore, to avoid bias, the conditions of the experiment must be complete and all-encompassing. The subjects must be blind to the experiment, so that the illusion of integrity and immersion is maintained. So what questions were put forward, you may wonder? What might happen if the connection to the Creator was severed? What would happen if free will was given to all, the ability to choose one's own destiny and path, as well as to deceive? How would we adapt and evolve if we forgot who we were? What directions would this take us in? Will we find our way back from the abyss? What will we learn from this? These were big questions, unexplored questions. This was new territory to experience. We had our theories, but they were untested. So many possibilities, but which of them would prevail? How will it unfold? This was the beginning of our descent from the light. I suspect that many of you listening to this now are uncomfortably adjusting yourselves in your seat, perhaps aware of a deep unease, unsure if you really wish to gaze through the looking glass. What kind of monster would wish to pose such questions? If you must know, we all did. This galaxy is a product of such questions, a product of our fall from grace. The consequences of such questions were profound, astonishing, incredible, and terrible. We ventured deep into the darkness and found much. Bear in mind that hindsight is a gift grounded in experience. Foresight, on the other hand, is subject to possibility and therefore uncertainty. The experience, when perceived from within, is absolute, as per the design's parameters. We had learned much through this deep separation from the Creator, and we were consumed by it. As of 2012, the decision to ascend back into the light was put into motion. The next phase of the experiment was put firmly underway. It was time for us to find our way back. by finding the threads of light left in the wake of our descent, rebuilding ourselves, reconnecting with a greater whole beyond the veil of illusion. Although we are not quite out of the woods, we are well and truly on the path back home. It seems prudent that we should understand how we arrived at this dark point in history, how reality transformed in response to these questions. What was birthed in the dark night of the collective soul? How did we arrive here? And how were we kept in darkness for so long? Free will is a central character within this story, subjectively considered both a gift and a curse. Many of the characters discussed over the coming lectures will have an air of familiarity hinted at throughout our lore, history books, religious texts, in our societies, institutions, and customs, as well as our archetypes. There is much that has been withheld, misdirected, diverted, and hidden. I offer illumination on this greatest of epics. Time is yet another central character within this story. For much of this to make sense, your concept of time needs to be expanded upon. And Wise One will be taking the lead on this subject. Please join Namas University again next week, when Wise One will be discussing time and timelines. My love and blessings to you. Until next time, farewell.
Hira kumar